Welcome to another episode in my new YouTube live series. So, I'm super excited about this episode. My intention for this series as a whole is to bring on experts in the business and then entrepreneurship space and have conversations that are fun, that are insightful, and are obviously packed with golden nuggets of information and inspiration to help you grow your online business in a way that feels good for you. So today's topic is going to be all around creating a website that converts into money. Okay, so we're going to be talking about website strategy. We're going to be talking about what really matters when setting up a site for conversions. And we're going to dive into things that you can tweak today that can make a big impact and everything in between with one of my longtime business friends, Emilia Farrace. Okay, so I had to triple check with her on how to pronounce her last name, and I think that I got it right, but she can correct me as soon as I bring her on. So before we get into the interview, I just wanted to let you know about the brand new YouTube SEO starter kit. So if you have a YouTube channel or you're looking to start one and you want to get your videos found by the exact people that are already looking for them, then the YouTube starter kit was literally made for you. Okay. So it includes how to do YouTube SEO keyword research, which tools to use, how to optimize your videos for SEO, what to do after you publish your videos, because what you do after actually matters just as much as to how you're optimizing those videos. And then the starter kit dives into YouTube analytics that actually matter for SEO, how to check in on your rankings after the video has been published, and so much more. So seriously, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, you can find out more at mariahmagazine.com/YouTube-SEO. The link to that should be in the video description as you're watching this live. Okay, so are you guys ready for me to bring on today's guest for the interview? So I'm going to be talking with Emilia. She's a website strategist and designer over at launchit.co. So she's currently backstage. Let's bring her on to the live stream. Hi, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Did I pronounce her last name correctly?
Of course, Emilia Farrace. That's it. You did
Okay.
it.
Cool, because we definitely had to practice that before this. So thank you so much for coming on. I didn't give too much of your background. Do you just want to catch the people up? Like, we know that you do website strategy, you do design, but you also do so much more. So how do you typically support people?
Ooh, good question to start with. Well, I think I've been in the online world, in the online space for over 15 years professionally, and then tack on probably another 7 to that, where I was just on the internet figuring stuff out. So, I mean, I come with a really breadth of experience that I put in with every kind of support question I ever get from students of our courses, which teach you how to put together your own website using the templates that we've created, as well as we provide custom one-on-one design for people looking for more of a VIP experience. And then, of course, custom design. And then through that all, I'm just really in a hybrid transition mode of not quite only one-on-one and then not quite only courses. I love a good one-on-one service. I feel like the industry, this online space has gone through a little bit of a shift to a lot of courses, which is amazing. That is not a knock. But sometimes I feel like it's hard to find service-based businesses, and we are a service-based business as well that offers supportive courses for our services. So that's what I like to say.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, what I love is like the hybrid. And I do this with my own business myself, right? It's like offering that one-on-one support for the people that need it while also being really passionate about educating people. And I know that you're really passionate about educating people too, because kind of similar to SEO, like SEO, super overwhelming, super technical. And it's tied like hand in hand with websites. Websites also can be super overwhelming and super technical. So I just feel like in this space, we need people that are able to break down these complex things into easy to understand ways. And I think that it's such a gift that you're able to do that for your clients.
Thanks. It also, I just want to add to something you said, because it's also continues on the idea that a website is never done. Right? Like, we launch a website. In the past, the way that websites were made in the past, super static, super brochure, and then it was like, done, I did it. Whereas now people really look to websites as the information source. This is your book about everything you're doing. If you are providing courses, if you are providing services, like, you are not online 24/7. You can't answer questions for people. And that is how we're always evolving, and we're able to update our site. Hey, we change our services, we add something, we take something away. It's never done. We are always changing as people. So is our business, I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up, because websites are never done, and that can either be like super empowering or super like, wait, excuse me? Like, I
Yeah.
literally have to keep testing and tweaking. But I think that like that's where the magic and that's where the juice comes of like understanding how to change things on your website. Like,
Mhm.
what was it, maybe 10 years ago, websites were mostly built like through table layouts and HTML and all of that stuff. And so anytime you needed anything changed, you had to have like your website designer, your developer on retainer, or like you need to make sure that they answered their email if you had to change your pricing, if you had to swap out a picture, if you had to do these things. So I feel like the way that websites have evolved in this day and age, and like with the content management systems that make it way easier for us to be able to update these things, it's
Mhm.
like it just makes it so much easier for the clients. So I appreciate your approach, but what I kind of want to like focus in on, because the title of this is like creating a website that makes you money, right? So
Yeah.
like, how would you define a successful website? Because successful, even in the realm of business, like having a successful business might mean different things to different people. So like
Mhm.
through the lens of websites, like what does having a successful website mean?
Yeah, and I love that you brought up the title, because I also want to really refine. I think a lot of people can just think that that just means you have a product on your site, and then the website that makes you money is you have a buy now button and they've paid for something. And yeah, okay, that is one way to quantify how a website can make you money. But it's like, what is, again, your definition of a successful website? Do you want people to get on your email list? And is it then designed and maintained in that way to encourage people to get on that email list? Do you want them to book a consult call with you? Are you someone who really loves human connection, connecting with people, getting on the phone? Well, maybe a successful website for you is to then get them on the phone, because then you can take them to that next step. And that is really how you define that. Does the website do what you would like it to do? And usually it all is kind of going on a pathway that leads to us making money. And so it's a
Mm,
really wide answer of the specifics, because even when someone goes on an e-commerce, we could use an e-commerce site as like the easy, okay, you have a product. So obviously you'd want that person to buy the product. But statistically, people need to see a brand, service, or a product. I think the last time I checked a statistic, please don't quote me, I think it was 7 times. It might have
I
changed
think
since
it's around there. I think it's like 7 or 8.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe the first time they land on an e-commerce site, it actually isn't to make that purchase, right? It's the first instance. This is talking about a cold website visitor. They have no idea who you are. They have found you through really good SEO. They have, like, we need it to take that next step, and really take that customer journey or that visitor journey, bring them in and invite them home. And that's kind of like how I view when we design websites, of like what's successful, really diving in to what each business wants and needs and what their specific goals are. And a lot of people, that actually takes a little bit of time to
Yeah.
refine, because I don't think we think about that. It's like, oh yeah, obviously I want people, I want clients, but we don't think about the ecosystem that needs to happen in order for that to occur.
Yeah.
So, to A to B answer that question, a website that does what you need it to do is a successful website. So very open.
And in order to figure that out, you have to understand what that means for you. Like, what do you want them to do? Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad that you brought up like this old way of viewing websites, because even when I created the title, I was like, ooh, creating a website that converts into money. It's such like an old school title, but it's like, I'd love to shift perspectives in here with it, because it's like, it's not just about like affiliate marketing website, like how to create a website that converts into affiliate marketing income. It's like that converts into money. It could be a short game, like an e-commerce website where it's like add to cart and like that's the conversion, they're purchasing whatever.
Yes.
Or it could be a longer game for a service provider of it's like, okay, that converts into money. Well, maybe the first step of that conversion is getting them on the call to then be able to talk to them and to answer their questions and to see if they're even a good fit for your business. So I feel like when we talk about converting into money, sometimes it's not like that short-term flip or like that short-term handing my credit card over to you. Sometimes that conversion pipeline is a lot longer, and we don't really talk about that. And then I also wanted to kind of come back to what you were saying, because it sounded like, how would you define a successful website? It kind of sounds like part of that is building trust on the website.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think a lot of the times too, we can get a little down a rabbit hole of feeling like our online presence means Instagram and TikTok or X, Twitter, or Threads now. Like it's all about how we are showing up, and we are training ourselves based on the rules that have been provided for us by these platforms. And there is nothing wrong with that. I always want to just start with that. It's not saying that social media is a waste of time, because it is definitely not. But the whole point of the social media platform is to bring brand awareness to you and your service. And then we want them to do something. And because all of these platforms have different restrictions or rules of like how you leave the platform, the easiest way is to make sure they're going to your home, your digital home, which is your website, which is also doesn't have to be a 20 pager with absolutely all the things you do in super detail of all how you do them, just somewhere where they could find additional info that you didn't say in your 60-second TikTok or in your super trendy reel that brought so many people over to your platform, but it doesn't really talk about what it is you're doing, how you're showing up in the business world, and what impact that you're trying to make. And that's where really getting clear on like the overall goals of your business are really going to translate over to the goals of your website, and then over the goals of all of your social media brand awareness and anywhere else that you are marketing, to be honest, like even in your emails. Just all of it. It all is connected. And sometimes we can kind of get spread too thin, I think, on like the quantity of content, that we could dilute our own message and not even realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's important, because I can't even tell you how many times, like I've been scrolling on Instagram. So I can't use TikTok as an example because I refuse to download the app because it would literally take up all of my time. But on Instagram, I can't tell you how many times I've saw somebody's like Instagram reel or their post. I really like their feed. I click the link in their bio, and literally like their website link is broken. Their homepage doesn't work. Their about page is garbage. Like it says nothing about them. And then it's like, wait, I thought that you were an expert in this. And I feel like when I go to a website that feels discombobulated, or the links are broken, or it doesn't make sense, like even the text, the copywriting is like way too vague, where they're just like, I help business owners grow their business. And I'm like, what? Yeah. How? Like it's not specific enough. It feels too fluffy. And so in instances like that, they end up losing my trust. And then I'll go back to their Instagram and I'm just like, ugh, do I really trust all of their Instagram content now? And I'm not saying that that bias is correct, and that I'm not saying that like my perspective and being disappointed in that way is correct. I'm just saying like my perspective of like how it comes across with somebody that doesn't know you yet. The question is like, how can we get them to understand and feel like, wow, this is exactly what I need. I trust this person. I like this person. Because if we think about the long scale of conversions, that's how we get people to buy from us, not from like a slimy, like, oh, buy my stuff, but like how we get people that like we actually want to work with and like support to connect with us and to buy our stuff. So I didn't have this question planned, but if you were to just give a really quick overview, like what are maybe the top 4 or 5 pages that every website needs to have that are just like, yo, you definitely need this?
An about page, 100%, especially if you are a personal, like front facing brand. Definitely a little bit more about you and a little bit about why you're the right person for them. So whatever service you're selling, whatever product, you always want to do, I call it the 2-prong, a little bit about you and your business, and then a little bit about them and why they need you in your business. So for the about page, just make sure that it's not just like, I am amazing, because you are, but not all about you, and just how the things that you're amazing at are going to benefit them and how and why. And the other page that you want to make sure you're including is just like what you're doing. So not to be confused with every single service that you offer, your entrance services, especially if you're just starting out, just focus on one thing. Like you don't need to have 3 services. I know a lot of the times we get like maybe conflicting information on this. Have some options, have packages, have this. Just start off with something, one thing, just to focus and get something out there to encourage people to start the conversation with you, and whatever that looks like. If starting the conversation means getting on your email list and then you have them in a nice email funnel that you're really proud of and you feel works, or if getting them on the phone and starting the conversation in that way, and like you know that you can help them with 20 different services. But you can kind of do that with a verbal conversation and kind of pinpoint what would be perfect for them. We don't really want to overwhelm people on our websites. We want to give them just enough information that it's enough that they want to connect with us to continue the process. Like be like, this is intriguing, right? Like what else can I do? So especially if you're in the beginning, you don't have a website, my recommendation is just to start with one service and go from there. If you already are in existence and you're just refining your website, I would like look to prune your services, see what's working, what's not, what are you selling, what hasn't been selling, and just again, just really niche it down so that it's easier for your website visitor to figure out what you do and again, how this service is the answer for them. And then finally, you must have a contact. Now, you don't have to have these all in separate pages, especially if you're just starting out, but you just definitely need a way for people to get in contact with you. So this will also vary depending on what your business is. And again, if you are, I know that sales calls aren't like a super big thing with people anymore. It is still with me. They perform really well.
I love sales calls.
I love sales calls.
As long as the person fills out my project request form, so I get like an understanding of what they need, and then we can schedule a call.
And that is a tip and a trick I always say to include as well. Instead of just a form that says name, email, message, why don't we start the conversation with these people? Start asking them questions, because again, these are visitors that don't really know, like they're coming at you because they need something that they don't know. They don't know anything about really. So it's up to you, even in that moment on your contact page, to invite them to starting that conversation. You know, what is the biggest challenge you're facing right now in addition to in conjunction with whatever your service is. So it's hard when you don't have an example, but
yeah, for sure.
For an example, for me with websites, I want to know what kind of business that they have. I want to know what kind of budget that they're looking at to spend, because we have a variety of services that fit every different budget. And I want to start the conversation strong. I want to go in with them, making sure that they know that they've hit the right place and they feel supported within what they can do. And that's why I put budget on my form, so that I could do that. I want to know what their business is, so that I want to make sure that we're the right fit and that we have the right website templates for them. And then I also want to just know a little bit about them and what they're doing in this world, how far along they are in business, just items that will really help me direct them with the right service. So those kinds of questions will look different depending on what your
Yeah.
service is. But think about those questions that you're asking on the phone. And those types of things, see if it's something you can just throw on the questionnaire first so that you can just get a little background context. You could always choose to evolve on the information.
Yeah,
But what we
100%. Testing,
yeah,
tweaking, experimenting. I think that's like
yeah,
one of the biggest things with websites is like when you're trying to design or redesign a website, you're trying to get everything perfect. And it's like, yo, this bad boy is going to evolve and it should evolve as your
yeah,
services evolve, as you get to know your audience a little bit more. So I think that those questions are really good starting points, really
yeah.
getting clear about like what information do you need from this person in order to make a decision on if they're a right fit for you or if you want to hop on a call with them. So I think definitely thinking about those things are really important. And I feel like what you're saying is like, it's not so much about the pages, it's about the information that's
Yes.
on the pages. So like, even if you have an about page and it looks like your college resume, maybe we tweak your about page a little bit because people that come in for more of like the corporate side of things, I feel like that is more typical of like, oh, an about page, people want to know my resume, people want to know my professional corporate experience. But with a website, like we have to start infusing more personality because
Mhm.
when we're trying to figure out like, hey, do I want to hire this person? It's like, do I jive with this person? Do I like this person? All of those things kind of come into play when it comes to creating a successful website that converts into money, whether it's like converts into money right now or converts into money later. Do you
Yeah.
have any tips for people in terms of like infusing their personality into their website?
Yes. So one of the easiest ways that I suggest that people do this is, especially if you're writing your own copy or kind of maybe you have like a little bit of a block and you're like, what do I do? I say hit the record button on your phone and either actually literally ask a friend or talk to yourself and ask yourself questions about yourself and about your business and about your service, like in just a super low key, like you're talking to a friend or your parent, maybe not your parent, depends on like your relationship with them, of like if they're like just the you can do nothing wrong or you could do everything wrong. But just someone who's going to invoke a good conversation, just record yourself talking to them normally. What are you saying? Like what's coming up? And just hear yourself, give it a second. Don't listen to it right away. Put it aside and either wait 24 hours or at least two, then listen to yourself. And I'm even going to use this word. I will guarantee you will be so impressed with yourself and your answer, and you will hear your personality come through in a way that isn't when you're typing. And like that's like a trick I always say, because then you just kind of like transcribe yourself. It's your words, and then you just edit what you said, if they're for any grammar or whatever, and just kind of do that. I do it with my emails as well. Sometimes sitting in front of the computer is hard for me.
Yeah.
So I'll be on a walk and I'll just voice note what I want to say, transcribe it, and it's so easy to like put your personality. And that's like, I guess, a more logistical, tangible way of doing it. Otherwise, I just also make sure that that's you're comfortable and you're okay with that is
Yeah.
just what I would kind of say for if that is something that you want with your brand, making sure that you're just making sure that your visitors, your audience, your community really love your personality, and they will continue to grow because the more you put out your personality, the more you're going to attract that same type of person, or not even the same type of personality, a personality that jives and connects with it. So it's
Yeah.
really awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm
I think that that's a really good tip in order of like recording yourself. What I usually do is like I'll have a conversation with a friend and then I notice like what I'm saying and how I'm saying it and like what pieces am I noticing that when I'm saying I'm getting really fired up about. Like
yeah.
what pieces where I'm just like, oh man, there's like some juice
Mm,
behind that. But I think
yep.
there's something to say about like verbalizing it because you're right. We can easily lose our personalities when we
Mhm.
just like are looking at a Google Doc, like trying to write this stuff. Another tip that I would give is like, what brands do you follow? Take a look at their website, take a look at their about page. Like what kind of personality personality do they have infused in there? Like, if you take a look at mine's pretty laid back. It's also a little bold. I can be a little sassy sometimes, a little fiery. So it's like, how do you connect with these other people? Or like, if you've been in business for a while and you're looking to like revamp your stuff and you're just like, oh, my about page is like so the old version of me, which that happens to me probably once a year. So instead, be like, okay, what is this homepage missing? What do I wish that it would say? What am I trying to get across here? And I feel like just really sitting in self-reflection is really helpful, along with the tip of like being able to verbalize, to rationalize. So I think that that's really helpful. You did mention like writing the about page itself, which brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you. So do you think that people need to hire a copywriter in order to have effective content on their website?
I think this answer really connects with the type of person that you are. I know, like for me, I love to write. I write really well. It was one of the things I wanted to do when I was younger. So for me, it's easier to put pen to paper. I know for some people, it's a really huge roadblock and it will prevent you from moving forward. So if you are someone that is going to hold yourself back because, you know, you hate your writing, you can't do this, you're all like obstacle, then I would suggest that if you can, if you are at the beginning of your business, I would not do custom copywriting. I would do templates that help guide you to what you need to do until you're at a stage where you really can answer questions about your ideal client and your service properly, that hiring a copywriter will really, really take your business to that next level, because you really need to have data within your own business to be able to hire and outsource web designers, developers, well, maybe not developers, but copywriters and everything custom, because you want to be able to have your own vision of what your goals are for your business. And usually that comes with like
Working
being in your
with you.
business for a bit. Yeah. And then if you are someone who does have the resources and is on, like, is in a couple years in or whatever, and like really needs that, I would 100% say to invest in a copywriter. I'm just wrapping up with someone right now, and I'm saying that as someone who loves to write, because there's something about the one-on-one with a copywriter, when it's like a copywriter's job, that they have to figure out what it is you do, how you do it, and then
String it together. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just finished just a homepage copy service. I just wanted the homepage, and I have been sitting in confusion for so long, and I've been in business for 15 years. So like, it's just like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I just need some clarity.
I do this, I do that, I do this, I can help with this, I can do this.
I've talked to friends, I've talked to colleagues, I've paid for like strategists, like I just want to sit down with somebody. And the amount of clarity I got just in my strategy call from the copywriter trying to get into my brain so that they could write out my copy, I was like, it was so easy, because that was the right person to strategize with. And so I'm just
right
like,
time.
Yeah. And so that's like kind of the two pathways, and there's nothing wrong with either one. But you want to always do the service, the path for you that's going to take away the overwhelm and take away the confusion and take away the stress.
Yep.
So also like ask yourself those questions too, whether you're like, do I need a copywriter? Can I do this myself? Do I need 3 sentences? No, you don't need to hire someone to help you with 3 sentences. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think that suggestion in terms of like, yo, if you're trying to DIY this stuff, like use the templates. And so I'm not saying like literally pop your name into the template and then copy and paste it, but like use these like copywriter templates that you can find, use them in terms of like a starting point so that you're not looking at like a blank Google document. I think that that's really great.
Yeah.
I'm also very intrigued by you hiring a copywriter because like I feel very similar in terms of my brand. Like my brand, my copy on my website is very much so like exactly how I talk. And so
Mm,
hiring a copywriter for me was always like, people aren't going to write like me better than me, but I'm interested. And so we might have to have a call and schedule it after this. But I
yeah.
do want to kind of talk about like the effectiveness and like tracking and measuring the success of a website. So
Yeah.
like how can website owners start to track and measure this stuff? Like how do you know if your website's actually working for you or not?
Well, I love this question, and you are going to be doing a lot of, oh, yes, 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 I think. Because when I get this question, the first thing that I say is, well, let's take a look at your Google Analytics data. Let's take a look at the data that you have. And a lot of the times, the answer I get is, oh, I don't have it set up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then we're not going to be able to track the success. The only measure that we'll have is if people are filling out the form. That's not telling us like what percentage of people are coming in and then filling out the form or booking that call with you. And it's really shocking to me because we have generally a lot of the things that people write in our consult forms are, I want SEO friendly, I want an SEO website, I want an SEO, and then they're coming to me and then they don't even have data on their current site. And I'm like, you can have the best number one SEO, like everything, and you won't even know if it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing on your site if you don't have Google Analytics tracked on your site. Because there's other ways, as you know, you'll know more than me, of checking to see if stuff you're doing is working in terms of getting them to your site. But then, my job is, now that they're on the site, now what are we going to do? And so one of the first things, actually track and actually pay attention, and then log into your account and pay attention to where the is the traffic coming, then where is the traffic coming from, and then what are they doing while they're on the site? Those three things. It's a lot. Actually, that's a huge task, but when you get to see that, you get to see what they're doing, how long they are staying, what they're reading, what they're paying attention to. You can see now, especially with the new GA4, they've really updated so much stuff and allowed it to be even easier to pay attention to what people are doing on your site. Part of the old way that they were doing Google Analytics, again, as you know, I'm going to shift out of here. That's what this is. But like, they've just made it so much easier to see stuff. And it's
fascinating. You are literally the first person that I have had a conversation with that is like, yo, GA4, they have made it so much easier in order to see things. Everybody that I know is overwhelmed by it. They hate it. They think that it's like so confusing. Even me, honestly, like I haven't spent too much time in there for my own website. And so I'm just like, ugh, I'd rather hang out in Google Search Console and be like, yo, let's look at the keywords and the pages and all of that. But tell me more about like GA4 and why you like it.
I don't know if you remember, but when they first came out with it, because obviously it's been available for a couple of years. They didn't just switch it. I knew about it right away. Obviously, I have like 25 sites in there. And yes, it is overwhelming. It is new. It is like, what the heck? But was the other one like magical? And
it was my comfort zone.
Like, it was
what do you mean?
It's just Stockholm syndrome. It was just as confusing. It was just
Universal Analytics was literally my comfort zone.
So what I think the difference is that probably for you too, you're obviously really familiar with creating goals and creating all those conversions. The difference with the new one is you don't have to. They just do those things. And that's what like 100% for me is awesome, because as long as you just have the connection, you don't know how to read it, that's okay. It's doing its job. When you're ready, you want to hire someone to go in there, the data will be there. And you can see, are they scrolling? A page event in Google Analytics now is if someone scrolls on your page and takes longer than usual on average, that is an event. They don't have goals anymore with the old Google Analytics, and you had to make a goal. You had to say, oh, okay, I want to do this, 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 and then you had to set it up. Oh, I don't think there's like a lot of people that did that. I mean, I'm sure there were, but like in our realm and the people I helped, there was never really a goal created unless I created it. And so here you don't have to do that. And then that's when you can really, I call it having fun, because that's when you can really tweak your website and change it and update it to reflect what your current people are doing. And then especially getting to see their like journey on your site, like what pages are they seeing? And then paying special attention to the exit page. So if they exit on a page that isn't the thank you page after they've signed up for something or booked a call with you, we want to investigate why. Is it just they weren't the right fit? Because obviously that's what we want them to do too. Or are we going and there's a high exit page on the about page. What's going on? The about page, all these people don't like me. Or if you connect there and you see that you have no call to actions anywhere, your website, or sorry, your menu goes away as you scroll. You don't have a call to action to anywhere else to go. They don't know if they should check out your services. They get distracted. They don't get called to book a call with you.
Your about page reads like your resume on LinkedIn.
Yes,
like
it's boring. They're like, too many certifications. I don't like this person, whatever, but that's not the case. And then they're leaving. And that gives you the opportunity to play with that. Or even better, although this would have been caught in Search Console, it's like there's a broken link. So they are clicking something and then they're like, oh, this is not working. I get distracted. Like, not everyone has ADHD, but when you're on a website, you got to act like you're the person's brain has ADHD, because that's how it operates. That's how the website operates. We are in constant competition with the other tabs.
Yep.
Who here ever has one tab open? No.
I literally have like 17 right now.
Yeah. I had to pull our stream out on its own so it wouldn't distract me and like full screen it. Like, it's just the way it is. So it's like those kinds of things. That's how you start. And you just want to start somewhere. You don't need to like make sure that you are changing something every day, because that's also not what it's about either. You want to at least give it a month, at least. And I don't actually even think a month is enough time, but for, go-getters, you want to give it time, and you want to give enough traffic to come to your site to actually see what's happening. So if you don't have any traffic going to your site, then this method's not going to work. Then you need to figure out, okay, well, we need to get more people to the site so that we can actually track the data too. So that's the other thing of where you want to really pay attention. Is it the traffic or lack thereof that is causing the problem? Or is it after they come to the site?
Is it the user experience, or is it the fact that you don't have enough people that are experiencing it? So I think that is really helpful. There are 2 more questions that I want to squeeze in here before the top of the hour. So, okay. So a lot of website designers and template creators focus on making good looking websites, because obviously we have to have a visually appealing website in order to make a good first impression, in order to increase that trust. But how do you combine good design with strategy? Like, how can you make sure that your website is set up for success and conversions and set up for people to take action without it tanking the design? Or without it looking too generic?
Well, I think this is when you want to really do your research as a consumer and pay attention to the templates. So a lot of the times that you're given, you're at a template store, and like, ourselves included, we sell templates. Our templates actually come with the prompts, the copywriting prompts and the section prompts. And we use traditional forms of like industry standard, like a sales page, for instance. We have all the sections that we're told should go on a sales page. And I would say, do your research when it comes to templates, sites, look through them. Does it make you want to shop? Like, does it make you want to click through?
Look at the demos, baby. Look at the demos.
Yeah. Are there call to actions? Is it easy to flow? Like, for you, is it making sense? Is it making you excited? Or is it overwhelming you?
Is it easy to navigate? Or like, is the menu hidden? Some of these like super fancy websites, it's like, they look more like a magazine. And then I'm like, yo, I don't even know where the heck your menu is, dude.
Yes. And then, or there's like 4 top tier menus. I hate to call it a platform, but show it websites really unfortunately do this a lot, but they're so beautiful. So I really understand that constant pushback struggle. But I do notice it a lot on the super magazine style layouts. I find them confusing. I find them like visually like, "Ooh, this is beautiful."
Yeah.
But does beautiful make us money? And that's really what maybe you could just remember that sentence. Does beautiful make us money for whatever service that you have? Also, really keep in mind your own business when you're looking at these templates, because we could get, it's almost like when staging a home, when you're going to like rent a home or something like that. The whole point is to get you to see what's possible.
Yo, Zillow staging pictures get me every time. I'm like, yo, take my money. Take my money, dude.
Yeah. But we want it. That's great. We want you to see yourself in the template, but we want to also make sure it makes sense for you and your business and where you're at. So also something you want to make sure is functionally, can you take out sections you don't need, save them at a later date? Because you also don't want to overwhelm, like, I don't have all these things. That's okay. You want to make sure that the template is easily remove sections, put them back, switch them around, copy them. These are all things that are available in my templates. That's why it's so easy for me, because that's why we created them. Like our templates are created from actual designs that we have made for our custom clients that then we've tweaked in such a way to make sure that they were readily available for anyone to purchase and drag and drop and use. And we carry people through that conversation. Like, what are we doing? Add to the email list, book a call, go to my shop. So
yeah. All of that makes so much sense. I wish that we had more time here, honestly. Okay, so if you guys want to check out Emilia's templates, you can check out our website at thelaunchit.co. Head over there. But I do just one more question. We're going to squeeze this bad boy in. So what are some things that somebody can tweak today that can make a big impact? So I know that like throughout this interview, we literally dropped like so many golden nuggets and like suggestions. But if we were to just give somebody like maybe 2 to 3 tweaks that we can make today, so things that like wouldn't take very long that can make a big impact, what would you suggest?
Double check your broken links. Go to Broken Link Checker. Mariah has a resource for that.
Go on YouTube and go to my channel and check out the tutorial for that. Thank you so much.
No problem. Check out your menu. Does it make sense? Clear over clever. None of this like funky language. Work with me about services. Like just make it clear. And then do you have a contact page and your location listed if that is important? Location, if that's important. Contact page, make it visible, and then see if you can make a little bit more of an interesting form. If you have a name, first name, last name, email, message, see if you can add a few more questions just to make that a little bit of a more integrative experience for that website visitor. And those would be the things that right now today you can just quickly do. And you hopefully would see a little bit of an improvement of people following through, and add more call to action links to these places actually. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. All of those are really good. And we do want to talk about Emilia's Google Analytics. So if you're following my channel, if you've been on my channel, you might have even found me by the Google Analytics setup tutorial. So what's up? Hey, but Google Analytics, the universal analytics, has then since stopped tracking data and information. They did make the full move to GA4, which is the new version of Google Analytics. So can you just tell us about like this $9 GA4 switch? Like what is it?
It is a super simple, easy, bite-sized course that takes you through setting up a new GA4 analytics account and then connecting that to your website. And I actually have step-by-step instructions for WordPress, Squarespace, and Wix and other platforms. So it's not just for WordPress people, it's really about connecting it. And then I also go through the GA4 dashboard, what it all means, how to check things, how to make sure it's working, and all that jazz.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you can learn more about that at Emilia's website. And then the link to it is also down below in the video description. If you guys enjoyed this interview and kind of just hanging out with us and chatting about making your website convert a little bit better. Make sure that you like this video. Really, like, honestly, the thumbs up. It's a super simple action. It does a lot for letting the YouTube algorithm know that my videos are helpful and helps kind of get my videos out to more people. A simple like is very helpful. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications because I don't always give people a heads up when I'm going live. So make sure that you turn on notifications so that you can be notified. But I think that that is it for today's interview. If you guys also want to learn more about the sponsor of this video, which is the YouTube SEO Starter Kit, head over to mariahmagazine.com/YouTube-SEO. I don't even have a fun little banner. Oh, yes, I do. What's up? Here it is. I forgot that I had it. Here it is. mariahmagazine.com/YouTube SEO. But until next time, remember that you get to grow your business in a way that feels good for you. Keep testing, keep tweaking, keep experimenting, and I will see you in the next episode.